Hello,
Officer.
I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
So I was forced
behind
to
you
turn
the whole
left.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Do you know the
Yep.
entrance to Johnson, that street?
Do you have the registration and insurance?
Yes.
Do you remember where you pointed to when you took the sign? Yeah, so if, like, you know that
Let me
light
just get this for you out.
just before it?
You what?
I'm just gonna get this out for you.
Okay.
That street. What?
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck like in their intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done been?
Not-
Just
You're
back up in
not
that
supposed to
situation?
block an intersection like that in Washington, so just by you blocking the intersection, that's technically a ticketable violation, and then then you're running a red light, so it's another ticketable offense. So you're not supposed to proceed into the intersection until you can go, because a lot of people do what you just did, right? Is like you're sitting in the intersection waiting, and then turns, and then you're blocking, so.
Yeah, there was a little bit of confusion with speeding because someone had stopped. I wasn't sure what they were doing, and then they put on their light to turn. So I thought that maybe they were letting me go through.
Oh,
Did you see that?
no.
Yeah, like right before I made the turn, there was someone who like made a right. And they didn't have their signal on, so I wasn't sure if they were just waiting.
Yeah, so I would just advise
Yeah.
just don't enter the intersection until you can go, so you don't get stuck. Let's see.
But in that situation, the best thing to do then would be back up and not.
I don't know if there's a best
Because
thing
I
to do in
couldn't-
that situation, because you're either going to back up into somebody
Yeah.
or you're going to run a red light. So, or you're going to be sitting in an intersection.
Yeah.
There's not really a great option there.
Yeah, I was just slightly into the crosswalk, so. Yeah, where I'm from Pennsylvania, we actually don't have like crosswalks.
Oh,
So even if
interesting.
you're kind of slightly, there's a little bit more leeway as well. Like there are a few lines. Like there's one white line and there's another one in front. Like there's like a certain
Yeah.
margin from which you can actually kind of put your vehicle, place your vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know laws vary state to state, but there is a law
Yeah.
in Washington for blocking an intersection like that, proceeding through when
Yeah.
you don't, when you're just stalling. I forget the actual verbiage. I can find it for you, but it's like stalling, blocking an intersection.
Yeah. I'm just curious about the law. I don't mean to.
Oh no, yeah, I
Yeah,
can
I'm not,
find
like,
it for you.
disagreeing with
Yeah.
anything. But,
1 second. That looks good on a Hyundai. I don't see Pennsylvania registration like at all. Okay, let's see. Expires November 22nd, or 2022. Okay. And,
yeah, one of those is actually.
yeah, okay, that looks good. I'll hand that back to you. I'm just going to go check your info. I'll try to find that RCW, the law for you, and I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so I found it. So I don't know what in Pennsylvania where you go to find laws, but in Washington it's called the Revised Code of Washington. So I'll try to turn my brightness up, but it's just called an RCW. So it's RCW 46.61.202. So it's no driver shall enter an intersection unless there is significant space on the other side of the intersection. To accommodate the vehicle he is operating without obstructing the passage of other vehicles, despite any traffic control signal indications to proceed. So you had a green light, so you're thinking you can go, but you're blocking the intersection.
Yeah.
So that's, if you're ever curious in any laws in Washington, just Revised Code of Washington. So I'm not writing a ticket or anything like that today. I understand you're from Pennsylvania, but in the future, don't proceed through the intersection. You can't get stopped for that alone, unless you can clearly just clear it right away.
Okay.
So
So then basically, I understand.
you're just supposed to wait behind the white line. Drivers do it all the time,
It
but
never even occurred to me that that was actually something wrong. But I
Yeah.
Well, except for the fact that I was blocking the crosswalk, which is why
Yeah.
I went through.
And states vary a lot from laws. Like Pennsylvania might not even have that law, but in Washington we do.
I'm actually just from a very rural area, so we just don't have crosswalks.
Oh,
Unless I visit an area where there are
Gotcha.
crosswalks, and then it's not very frequent.
yeah.
Yeah, I do apologize if I was asking you too many questions about the law. I wasn't trying to
No, not at
disagree
all.
with
Like
you
I
or
understand you're not from here, so if you don't, a lot of people don't know a bunch of laws. Like I only know it because this is what I do. But yeah, if you're ever curious on any more laws, just RCW, and they can be hard to read because it's in like legal language. But hope that helps.
Definitely.
Yeah, have a good day.
Definitely you too.
Thanks.
Get it, boys. Get it, boys.
The water's really cold, it's really fast. Places that might seem really mellow, there's a lot of current going under the water at very high speed, and you don't really know that until you're in it. But rapids get bigger, there's a lot more trees in the water along the sides of the river, especially after 4 years of drought, while the trees aren't necessarily as healthy, they're now in the water. So the last couple years we've seen anywhere from 1,300 to 2,000 CFS, which is cubic feet per second. And this year, right now, we're seeing about 7,000 CFS go by us. As long as we don't get a crazy spike, the South Fork is actually raftable. It basically all flows. But many of the other rivers in California are too high right now, and we're moving people around and getting off of various different rivers. So another river that we run this time of year is the North Fork of the American, which is over outside of Auburn off of 80. And it's this week it's too high. It's gone over peak flows, and it just gets to the point where even we don't want to go out there.
Yeah, so the biggest thing that I'm looking for as a commercial guide going downstream are going to be eddies, which are places that I can get out of the current to slow over, check in with my team, check in with my crew, maybe watch the rest of the boats, go down the rapid, make sure they're okay, and then we can peel back out, get in the current, and continue downriver. You know, we're just running conservative lines, staying away from things that are changing on the flows. One day you might hit it and it might be fine, but the next day it's 600 CFS higher and maybe it holds on to you and you have a swim. So just running clean, conservative trips. I would say that if you're thinking about taking a trip, coming out with professional company is the way to go. You know, we do a lot of things, take swiftwater rescue courses. You know, we all are up to date on wilderness first aid at a minimum. And when the rafting companies and businesses are doing really well, it just brings more and more tourism into the area. El Dorado County is a huge county for tourism, and with Tahoe and Desolation Wilderness and all the Rubicon Trail, and then the rafting is just one part of that. And so it's a great, when we're doing well, everyone's doing well.